take a listen to this story. The world's leading association of genocide experts has declared that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza, even though, wait for it, just over a quarter of the group's members actually voted. In a resolution, the International Association of Genocide Scholars, the largest professional body of its kind, saying Israel's actions meet the legal definition under the UN Convention on Genocide. Now, the 3-page document cites a series of measures Israel has undertaken during the 22-month war, labeling them as genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. The association put the motion to a vote among its 500 members, but just 129 of them participated. So, to find out more, it's a pleasure to welcome Dr. Sara Brown, a genocide scholar and member of the International Association of Genocide Scholars and a former 2-time member of the advisory board, joining us from San Diego. Thank you so much for your time. So much outrage, obviously, in this part of the world over this vote by the International Association of Genocide Scholars. You yourself pointing out there was no debate, no transparency even in getting to this hugely damaging resolution. What can you tell us to start about the actual process here?
So first of all, thank you for having me on. I wish I was joining you under different circumstances. I'm deeply disappointed by this resolution. And not just the content itself is extremely questionable and problematic, but also by the process. So when this resolution was put forward by IAGS to its membership for a vote, immediately a number of us reached out deeply concerned about the content, about the sources that were cited, about the overall lack of the tenor, the lack of any type of empathy for October 7th, for the better understanding of the Israel-Hamas war. And so we reached out to the leadership, to the executive board, and we were told, hold off, we're going to have a town hall, you're going to be able to discuss your concerns. We also submitted to the listserv, which is distributed amongst the membership, our concerns and rebuttals, and those were not posted. We were told that they were, hold on to that. It's in violation of our rules. We will have these conversations aired at our town hall. In the end, that decision to host a town hall was reversed by the president, who summarily told us, nope, we're not having any discussion. This is moving forward as is, like it or not. A number of us voted against it. I think even more people, just discouraged by the general content of the resolution and the absence of even professionally cited sources, qualified sources, likely remain silent. And as a result, we see that 129 people voted, actually 3 abstained, so 126 people voted out of about 500 people in the membership. And then they go out and tote this as if to say, all genocide scholars are united in condemning Israel for genocide. That is not the case. Many of us disagree, and we were silenced.
So to be clear, the association says the vote was held in accordance with bylaws and standard procedures. My question to you is, how does one even become a member of this association? Is it scholars? Who else is involved here? Who's voting?
So it's generally open. Anyone who wants to pay the dues can join. To my understanding, there is not a review process, although maybe that has changed. It's been a while since I served on the advisory board, a couple of years. But generally, anyone interested in this, so it can be artists, activists, scholars, anyone can join. And I actually think that lends itself to debate, a diversity of opinions and viewpoints, and a more holistic understanding of genocide. However, clearly, we see it also opens the door for activists to come in and introduce deeply biased content and a resolution that unfortunately is a stain on the reputation of the International Association of Genocide Scholars. And maybe the vote did occur according to the bylaws. The bylaws are very general, but a promise was made by the executive board that we would host a town hall for discussion. This resolution was too important not to offer that kind of important context, open scholarly debate. There was none of that. There was no transparency. We don't even know who the authors of the resolution are.
Well, that certainly is very concerning. And over above that, the problem is this headline has gone viral. The public is going to see that these genocide experts agree. And obviously not everyone is looking at the details under the headlines, understanding this twisted process that you are describing here. So the false narrative goes out. We've been talking here in studio about the way Israel is perceived on the global stage. Your sense of how damaging this is, this so-called resolution for Israel right now?
I think it's deeply damaging. It's one of the reasons I'm so grateful to you and I-24 for hosting this kind of conversation and debate and setting the record straight. Unfortunately, because there was no transparency mechanism within the International Association of Genocide Scholars, we are getting the word out via social media, via the news and print periodicals, and others who are willing to host us and talk about this. I am deeply concerned, though, that the narrative is decidedly against Israel. It is promoting this false concept that genocide scholars around the globe are unified in condemning Israel for genocide, which is a false accusation. It's libelous. And sadly, you are going to be a part of correcting this terrible narrative.
And given this exact discussion about the truth, it would only seem fair and appropriate, given this furor around these findings and these headlines, to clearly define genocide, the legal definition under the convention, especially the intent to commit genocide, as was the case in Rwanda, a process that you know so well, given your writing. It's all staggering when Israel is defending itself against a terror organization that has a clear charter and has leaders that are openly and repeatedly saying their aim is to destroy Israel. Please, can you help define genocide?
Ooh, on one foot. Okay, I appreciate this test. So according to the 1948 International Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, genocide is, and this is not a verbatim quote, but the intent to destroy a national, ethnical, religious, or national group. And then there are 5 categories of crimes that could constitute crimes of genocide, but they have to be perpetrated with the intent to destroy in whole or in part. The intent component is the most important component. And there's also allowances to ensure that in the context of war is awful. War is terrible. It is a tragedy, every innocent life lost in Gaza. But the context of the Israel-Hamas war is very different than that of a genocide. And we do not, to date, see documentation that indicates intent to destroy in whole or in part by the Israeli government.
Well, we certainly appreciate your time and your insights. Dr. Sara Brown, thank you so much. No doubt this conversation is going to continue. Live from San Diego, thank you very much.
Thank you.